Let's talk about one of my all-time favorite lenses, and arguably one of the best 85mm primes on the market for Sony full frame. This is the Zeiss 85mm f1.8 Batis. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Desmond and I make content for creators that want to take better photos and shoot better video. And today we're here to talk about one of my all-time favorite lenses. This is the Zeiss Batis 85mm f1.8 for the Sony full frame system. And I will say I haven't used this lens in quite a while, but I've been thinking about bringing it back into rotation, and I wanted to throw up a review to let you guys know if this is still a great lens in 2021. Alright, so first, the options for 85mm has grown a bit since I purchased this about 6 years ago. Now you've got Sony's 85mm f1.8, which goes for about $800 now. You've also got the Sony 85mm f1.4 G Master, which goes for about $1,800. Then you've also got the Sigma Art 85mm f1.4, which I think retails for about $1,000 to $1,100. Now the 85mm Zeiss Batis still goes for about $1,200. So this kind of sits right near the middle of the options available, and I want to jump into why I still think this is one of the best possible options for 2021. Alright, so let's just talk about build quality and form factor. And I will say that is one of my favorite things about this lens. This is probably one of the most beautiful and elegant lenses that I own or have seen. I love the design aesthetic on this thing. The lines, everything about it. It is a all metal construction, beautiful glass, and has just incredible tiny minimalist touches to it that make it look different than any other lens that I own. And just a quick note, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. We just passed 500 subscribers on this channel, which is awesome. And I know for a lot of you that's really not a big number, but it means a lot to me and I really appreciate your continued support. Couple of design features to call out is the rubberized focus ring. I like it, it's smooth, I like the texture and the way it feels. One of the things that I will say though is it does collect dust quite easily, but it's also relatively easy to clean. And another thing to call out, which makes this lens and other Zeiss Batis lenses special, is the OLED display, which lets you see the focusing distance when you're trying to do manual focus. I honestly don't use it very often. I just think it's cool to look at and see though, and it does add a very nice futuristic touch to the lens, and I will say it still feels pretty timeless in terms of design. But for the most part, I've got this lens with my A7R4 or my FX3, and the autofocus is awesome. With that said, let's just jump right into the important stuff, picture quality and performance. So, first thing I gotta say is this lens is incredibly sharp. The photographs that come out of this are tack sharp, and the nice thing about an 85mm focal length is the amount of bokeh and background separation. What I love about this lens for photography is, yes, portraits I feel like are a no-brainer, but even when you're taking product photos, when you're doing things like landscape, when you're trying to do environmental portraits where you have to step back a bit, this lens does an incredible job of just creating beautiful background separation between the scene and your subject. And that is one of the things that I love most about this. But like I said, I think my shooting style has changed a bit over the years. As a parent, it is tough for me to carry around a telephoto lens and step really far away from the kids. But like I was saying earlier, I am adding this back into my rotation. I've been shooting a lot more video and photo, and I feel a lot more comfortable finding other interesting ways to use this other than just for portraiture. And one of the ways that I really love to use this lens now is for video. Back when I purchased this, I was solely focused on photography, but this lens and the 85mm focal length is absolutely perfect for creating just cinematic B-roll and video. That background separation, that bokeh, that really nice tight focal length is great. The The Batis specifically has built-in stabilization, so when this is paired with either my A7R4 or my FX3, which has active steady shot, you get incredibly smooth video. And when you pair that with slow motion, you have like the most buttery, beautiful cinematic slow motion video ever. And that's kind of why I'm falling in love with this lens all over again. And one of the things that will come up a lot for buyers in 2021 is whether or not this lens performs well with the new autofocus systems that exist, right? With the FX3 or the A7R4 or A7S3. And I will say that autofocus on this with these new systems is incredible. And it really gives this thing kind of new life. Not that this was a terrible lens when I bought it. It was incredible then, and it is even more incredible now because it can still take advantage of all the new technological advancements that are coming with these new Sony bodies. And that's one of the things that I would say to most buyers is, for me, when I invest in glass, I tend to pick up the higher end version just because I know it'll last a long time. I bought this 6 or 7 years ago, same thing with some of my other favorite lenses. And with the changes in Sony bodies, these things can still take advantage of all that new technology. The eye autofocus, everything about those systems translate well into this new lens and make it perform even better than it did back when I bought it. And one more thing that's special about this lens that some of the other options don't have is the rubber gasket, which means that this lens is weather sealed. So yes, take it out into the rain, you can shoot, you don't have to worry about it. And I think that is also what makes this a very nice premium lens that's worth the money that you pay. And that is my review of the 85mm Zeiss Batis. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. I will see y'all in the next one.